Hi everyone, my name is Sumaya Ahmed and I am the Virtual Content Specialist for 7th grade Science. In this video, I will review some supports for Unit 6, Day 4. The focus question is how can we reflect on our accomplishments, learning, and growth this year? So the lesson objective for this lesson is to reflect on your growth as a scientist, as a student, and as a person this year. And your task is to finish adding to your social media inspired yearbook to share with your classmates. So I will just discuss some ways that you can reflect on your growth in the following ways. So a few ways that you can reflect on your growth as a scientist. You can reflect on your growth in asking questions. So questions about the text, questions about a science concept, questions about a video. Questions help us get more information. They help us see things at a different perspective when we get the answers, and that can lead to even more questions. And they're also a nice way to share and connect our ideas and answers with our peers. Another skill as a scientist that's important is making observations, whether it's making an observation about a video or an observation about a science experiment that you've seen. And you can use, all your five senses. Obviously, for safety, we don't want to use taste. And some things we do not want to touch, especially if they're toxic chemicals. We want to make sure we use gloves and use proper precautions. But you can use your sight, your hearing, and you can use your senses to make observations about anything related to science. You can also reflect on your growth in measuring, collecting, and analyzing data. And a data analysis is important because it shows you trends, they show you relationships between two concepts, which is important for science. You can reflect on your communication skills and how you grew in communicating with your peers, how you gave them feedback and learned from communicating with your peers or your teachers. And you can also reflect on how you made connections throughout this year. These are some connections that you can make while reading a text, but you can also make these connections throughout your learning in science, like making connections with texts that you read in science, making connections with yourself and other concepts that you've learned in other areas of your life, or making connections with the world and other concepts in science. So these are just some ways that you can reflect on your growth as a scientist, because these are very important skills that scientists need to focus on. Now, our next reflection was to reflect on your growth as a student or as a person. So I'm going to kind of combine those and just share some universal skills for learners. So some things that you can reflect on is how you communicated. I know this year we had a mix of in-person and remote learning, so how you communicated remotely with your peers and your teachers. Did you improve in communicating with them and reaching out to them and asking questions and asking for help with your peers or helping out your peers during remote learning? And this goes back to asking questions. When you were struggling, did you ask questions? Did you ask for help? Another thing that's really important is setting and achieving goals. Did you set goals for yourself throughout this year, and did you achieve them? If you did not achieve them, what are some of your next steps to help you achieve them? Another one that I want to highlight is learning and using emerging technologies. So, of course, with remote learning right now, we use a lot of new technology, a lot of new applications for learning, whether it's, getting good at using Google Classroom or using any other application that your teacher uses in class. So these are just some things that you can reflect on. Also, working collaboratively with others, doing effective online searches, identifying and solving problems. So, these are just um, things that you can reflect on your growth, both as a student and as a person this year. And I hope this helped. Thank you for watching.